And I think that actually pivots nicely into our next topic, right? Which
What do you got
is
for us?
Bradley Tusk, who was influential, one of the leaders at Uber who helped make them survive their early regulatory troubles. And we should do a deep dive one day on that because it's really interesting on the Steam Zone. But today he's published, or not today, but this week, he's published an article titled The Problem with Declaring Things Good or Bad. And I think it's a really great article, and everybody should read it. But there's one quote that stands out to me, which is regulation is not inherently good or bad. Venture capital is not inherently good or bad. Government is not inherently good or bad. Startups aren't inherently good or bad, right? These are all just systems and tools that we use. Some are good, some are bad. And I think that really, I think hits home with me. It's something I've talked a lot about on this show, which is the details matter, right? We cannot just do the Twitter thing that we all do, which is read the headline and be like good or bad and be done with it. The details really matter. I don't know if you have any reaction to the article, but I really loved it.
Ben, we are paid to have a reaction to the article, my friend, and by paid I mean we get good vibes from it. Yeah, look, here's I'm a fan of Bradley's work. I respect the take, especially on these topics. I don't want to take this too far, right? I think and you're not claiming this, where I get off the bus is I don't necessarily subscribe to moral relativism. I don't think we should blow this up to be like there is no such thing as good and bad in the universe. I don't believe that. I actually do believe that good and evil exist. And I think we actually need to call out things as evil. Now, there's this trend right now. If you don't agree with something, the person who, brought it forth as a demon or whatever, that's not for me either. But there are things that we as humanity, we as living things can reject. Say, hey, this is not actually something that we want. Things like child rape. Like I get off the bus there, Ben. You're not going to convince me that there's a circumstance in which that makes sense. I understand murder is a little bit different. There are certain circumstances where killing is justified if you're protecting your family or your nation or people close to you. Like there are reasons why I understand the contours of the argument. You've made this argument here on the Steam Zone many a time. The devil's in the details. It's all about execution. I think this is key. Right now, what comes to mind for me is AI, which is there's people who are saying, hey, we just need more, faster all the time. And I understand why we are in this kind of competitive environment where there's this belief, hey, we just need to do whatever we can to advance the state of play as quickly as possible. Called out the accelerationist camp. I think there's really good arguments for it. The flip side of that is it doesn't mean the effects are going to be unequivocally positive. And I think that's a part of what Bradley's saying here is it's incumbent. Yes, the people building it need to be cognizant of that. And AI, maybe more than any other technology, is at least catalyzing folks to start thinking about the downstream effects of what the widespread adoption of this technology may entail. I'm not so sure we have a handle on any of it, but the people seem to be aware. There are some fellowships now that we're seeing. We talked to Charles last week with the industrial fellowship, trying to get some folks who are a little bit closer to this technology into policy communities to start thinking about the implications of all of this. It's a work in progress. I don't think we've ever done that super well, even in our open democratic society here in the United States. But if the point is, hey, it's a tool and tools can be good or tools can be used for bad, then let's all do what we can to make sure it's on the side of the good team. And that's part of the accelerationist argument, frankly, which is that, hey, I'd rather America be the dominant force in some of these technologies than, say, I don't know, China.
Okay, next week on the Steam Zone, we're going to dive into Western philosophy and understand Spinoza and Nietzsche. What is good? What is bad? Is good what is useful to us, and evil the contrary, like Spinoza would say? Or we got the Friedrich Nietzsche view. I'm just kidding. Maybe I'm not. We'll see what the
I
facts
don't
are.
know. I kind of like that. If you want to join a Steam Zone little philosophy eating talk, maybe we'll set that up in the city, man. That
The
sounds like a
core
good time.
curriculum
I'd
at
sign
U
up.
Chicago coming back to play. It's a good thing we
Let's
still
go.
teach Western thought.
Canon, moral philosophy of politics. Let's do it.